Hello, Pisces. March energies are upon us. Are you ready? Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Hello, all. Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your transformational tarot reading for the month of March for Pisces. Pisces, this is Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And also, if you have a Pisces in your life that you love, what a great way to be able to get to know where they're at and help them to navigate the waters as well. So today we are going to be pulling an overarching theme card from the Sacred Creators Oracle from Chris Ann. And the deck that stood out to me today for you guys is the Shadowscapes Tarot from Barbara Moore and Stephanie Pui-Law. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so as I am shuffling up your overarching theme, I am so excited to announce that after 11 years, YouTube has finally deemed me worthy enough to be able to offer memberships to my subscribers. So if you would like to go deeper, keep the conversation going, and become a fabulous phoenix with me, click the join button. There are 3 different tiers of membership if you are so inclined. Oh, loving this for you guys. Your soul shines. So I'm feeling, Pisces, like this is a month where there's going to be a lot of tenderness. There's going to be a lot of gentleness that you're going to need, but also that you're going to feel called to provide. I feel like this is a month where you're really going to be focusing on your chosen family, your inner circle. For you guys, it's going to be less about the collective and more about what is it that my people need? What is it that my circles of support need? What is it that I need from my circles of support? And when we talk about your soul shines, I'm feeling that there's going to be a bit of a highlight put on your zone of genius. Now, for some of you, it's going to be, I don't know what my zone of genius is anymore, or I'm not feeling connected to what my zone of genius is. And for others of you, it's going to be, oh, this is my zone of genius. Yes, I want to shine that out into the world all over the place. So I feel like there's a bit of a juxtaposition for you guys. Of course, this is a general reading, Pisces. Take what works for you, leave the rest behind. Oh, sorry, I just realized I didn't have that light on. So, however it resonates, take it as such. But I'm definitely feeling that the energies of March are going to be activating you, and it's really just going to determine, kind of where you're at, what side of the coin you're on at that time as to how it is going to activate you. I also am noticing that it's a 34, which breaks down into a 7. 7 is the number of divinity. And I feel like this is going to be quite a spiritual month for you, where you are going to be doing a bit of an emotional deep dive to figure out what your belief systems are from a spiritual perspective. And I want to say how you're going to, moving forward, how you're going to choose to navigate those waters, because you are entering into spiritual waters and emotional waters that you haven't been in before in this lifetime. You, of course, can access your Akashic records, do some meditation to tap into that, use your spidey senses, your intuition. But ultimately, this is going to be how you are manifesting this and how you're integrating this in this body, in this life as you. Okay, this is you in the present moment. Where are you right now in your transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? Interesting. Page of Cups. So you're wanting to be creative, and what I keep feeling, Pisces, is maybe you've been getting lost in the creativity, and March is now going to try and kind of bring you back to center. It's one thing, believe me, I love being in creative flow. No doubt about that. It feels really good. But with everything on this planet, it's duality, and we always kind of strive for balance, whatever that balance is to us in that moment. This feels a little bit like you've been getting lost in the creativity. Creativity has become the crutch, or the way that you procrastinate from actually stepping in and doing the thing. We talked about your zone of genius, and I feel like maybe your zone of genius is involved in this creative endeavor that you're doing, but what I'm really feeling here is it's like, okay, I can create and be in flow with it all day long, but how is it manifesting? How am I bringing it to the world? Right now she's underwater, right? And so she's used to this energy, she's used to floating around here. She knows what to expect, she knows where her resources are. It almost feels like she's doing it just because she knows how to do it. It's easy, it's effortless. She doesn't have to put a whole lot of thought into it. I feel like, Pisces, you're at the precipice of kind of breaking away from that and having to step into a path where there's going to be some learning, some testing, some challenge to expand and explore your zone of genius, right? So Page of Cups, I feel this is dissolving. You're dissolving this right now in order to be able to take all of the, the creative flow that you've been sitting in, that you've been generating, and now how do I bring it to the surface? How do I take it out of the realm of the water, the malleable, the flowing, and how do I actually make it tangible, kind of bring it into the, the pentacle energy? Catalyst. Ooh, these cards are really speaking to you. Oh, and speaking of pentacles, here we go. So the catalyst, what's fueling or hindering your transformation, and is this resistance or rocket fuel? So yeah, there's a part of you that is a little concerned. Like, you're like, but I want to stay in the water. And this is the invitation to say, no, but you kind of need to be on land now, because Seven of Pentacles is about reaping the rewards of the seeds that you've planted. Well, you've planted a fuck ton of seeds. So now it's time to, kind of get out there, bring it to the world. Shine your light. Your soul shines. It's time to bring it to the world. Oh, I just heard that for some of you, and I can totally relate to this, for some of you, you've been in a bit of a hermit mode for a while. March is the month where you're going to be encouraged, strongly encouraged by your angels and guides, by your high self, by the people around you, to come out of that hermit mode and to sort of step into the light, come back onto the path where people are. It doesn't mean that it has to be, to the extreme where, you're going from, living in a cave by yourself for 6 months to the first thing you do is you go to a concert with, 50,000 people. It's not to that degree or that extreme, but definitely I'm feeling that it's important for you to recognize that it is time for you to reap the rewards of the harvest. It is time for you to share that energy that you've been generating. And in order to share, you have to come out of hiding. You have to show up and share this with people, be with other people. You get to determine what that looks like. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a stadium of 50,000 people. It can be 1 or 2 or maybe 3 people. But it definitely has to be something or someone other than you and your creations. Deep root. What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Yeah, you've been doing a lot of inner child work. I feel a lot of, you've been doing a lot of ego work, trying to realign the ego to more of, kind of the dreams, goals, desires that you've been wanting to connect with. You've been definitely taking comfort in the creature teachers of the world. So less about people and more about nature and, like I said, creature teachers, your pets, the animals, maybe even like children, younger, youthful people that don't take a lot of energy from you, that are easy to be around, easy to be with. And I want to say nothing wrong with this at all, but there is a way that you can access this and you can bring it again here. You can bring it to the surface of the earth. You can bring it into a tangible space and a tangible place. It's interesting. You started off with the cups, so that the ocean of emotion, our psychic realm, the pentacles, thoughts become things, tangibility, health and wealth. And the strength card is fire. It's Leo energy. So passion, soul energy, fuel, motivation that we use throughout our life. And so I feel like the sort of that deep root, you've been dealing with wounds. And I want to say the work that you've done around these wounds is not going unnoticed. Your guides are saying enough of the work has been done. in private or, internally, that now it is time to bring it externally. And you've got what it takes. You've got what it needs to be able to do that. I almost want to say this is like your circles of support, right? This has been your circles of support. Now it's time to seek out a different circle of support. Interesting. What's dying away? What part of you is falling away this month? What role, pattern, or identity has run its course? Interesting. Feeling like you got to do everything by yourself. Burning the candle at both ends. Feeling, I want to say, Pisces, I feel like you have been feeling things so deeply, and maybe there's been some rage, maybe there's been some anger. It's not that you can't feel those things. You can feel those things very well, but sometimes when you feel those things, if you're not aligned with the purpose of why, you can get lost in it. And so I feel like that's what's dying away, is I'm losing control. I'm getting lost in all of these overwhelming feelings that I'm experiencing, and I'm not able to kind of get out the other side of it. You go deep. And not to say that this, you're never going to be able to go deep again. It's kind of in your DNA, right? It's in your DNA. It's going to happen again, of course. But the King of Wands is coming through to say, you've now elevated to that king space. You can't unlearn or unsee what you've seen and what you know now. So now the onus is upon you to apply it. You don't have to go back into past patterns and cycles. You can now apply the wisdom that you have gained moving forward. And that's what the King of Wands does. The King of Wands is super confident in his choices. He says, I see something and I'm going to make it happen. I go after it, and I go after it with enthusiasm, and I go after it with a little bit of charm. I go after it with a lot of dignity. I'm not getting hung up on whether or not it's going to be successful. I believe in myself, and I know that whatever happens and whatever effort I put into it, I'm going to learn something as a result of it. So I'm not getting hung up on what I think is supposed to happen. I'm just choosing the idea and I'm moving forward. I'm using my wisdom. I'm using my leadership to steer the ship as I move forward. So I want to say, Pisces, if it resonates with you, if you find that you're, getting hung up on the past, getting hung up on things, or getting hung up on a pattern of, I used to do it this way, so why can't I just keep doing it this way? Well, King of Wands says you can't keep doing it that way because you've already done it that way. It's time to do things in a different way. That's what you're here, Pisces, to learn in this life. You guys are the oldest, not in terms of like age, but like you've been around a lot. You've been around the block a lot, in terms of incarnations on this planet. And you have a lot of Akashic record energy. You have a lot of wisdom and knowledge. You've been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt on a lot of different things. So every time you agree to incarnate, you're like, all right, I want to do it in a different way. I absolutely need to do it in a different way. I'm not here to do things that make me feel comfortable all the time. I'm here to explore the extremes. And that's what I feel this card is implying and indicating and preparing for you, because that's one of the challenges that's going to present itself. Highest Phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Rising above the grief, rising above the loss, recognizing that it is a part of the natural cycle of life. Recognizing also that if you're having to let something go, it's because you had your time with it. I often say that too much of a good thing is too much. You can have an unripe bowl of fruit and you put it on your table in the sunshine and you let it ripen over the course of the next couple of days. Well, now like it's perfectly ripe and you're eating it and you're enjoying it and it's wonderful and everything is great. Well, eventually, if you leave it out for 2 weeks, that perfect, ripe, juicy, apple or orange or whatever it is, suddenly is starting to dry out. Maybe it's growing mold. It's shrinking. It's hardening. It's lost its flavor. It's lost its juices, and molding. It's going bad. It's going sour. So I feel like this is really about understanding that everything that is lost to you or is removed from you, it's happening for a reason. It's happening because you don't want to hold on to it for too long. You don't want to keep it past its expiration date, because then it hurts you rather than helps you. You don't want to eat moldy bread. You don't want to eat moldy fruit, because mold will make you sick. So I feel like that's really what is kind of transpiring here. What can rise from the ashes is a deep awareness and understanding that whatever I'm releasing, whatever I'm feeling, that I've lost, I haven't really truly lost it. I experienced it. I got what I needed from it. This is an invitation to remain very present with every circumstance, every situation, every person, every interaction that you have, because you don't know how long you're going to have it for. You don't know until it's done and over with, that you got what you needed from it. So it's an evolution of the soul's knowing itself. And that's what you're stepping into. We are in eclipse season right now. And eclipse season, spares no expense at making sure that everybody gets the lessons that they need. Nobody is allowed to skirt it or skate it. It happens to everyone. And it's a reset. It's an opportunity for us to reset ourselves in a particular area of our charts and to really grow into that space. Again, always refining who I am choosing to become. And that's what this is all about. Okay, what's emerging just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? Oh, beautiful. Two of Pentacles. Balance. Resource. I swear, Pisces, you can't make this shit up. I love how the cards are speaking today. Okay, so what's emerging just around the corner is your recognition of what resources you actually need, what light you are choosing to shine. And he's not balancing precariously. He looks like he's got his shit together. He knows what he's doing, and he's got support. This little monkey underneath him is sitting here watching what he's doing. He can grab his foot at any time if he notices that it's starting to tilt back or fall back, or he says, "Hey monkey, can you help me out?" So you're not balancing precariously on this this pedestal. I feel that there is a lot of intentionality to this. There's skill. He knows what it is that he's doing. He's got purpose, and I feel like that's really what is being birthed for you and through you at this time. Is maybe it's a new sense of purpose. Maybe it's a renewed sense of your purpose, but it's tapping into that zone of genius and using it. This also has an energy of practice, like you're practicing with it. You are perfecting a little bit of your craft before you, kind of throw yourself out into the world at large. You want to kind of make sure that you've, got all your ducks in a row. You've dotted your I's and crossed your T's. Not to the extreme. You're just kind of, trying it out a little bit. And then you're like, okay, I can do this. But that is what is emerging. I feel like your confidence is emerging, as well as a reconnection or a new connection to your passion, to what your soul has come here to experience and to embody. Your role in this shift, you in the process, how are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Ooh. If you allow yourself, you can flow, but you have to flow on top of the earth, right? Like not on the earth, on top of the land, right? Not in the water. This is your time to manifest. This is your time to be in the world, right? Temperance is interesting because it's blending those energies together. It's taking your water energy, your psychic ability, your emotional space, and it's blending it in this depiction. It's blending it with the fire, with the soul, heart and soul. And heart and soul, yes, it can exist in the water, but it exists very differently on land. And this is where you are shining your soul, is on land, where a lot of other people are. This is that renewed sense of purpose. Temperance is balance, tolerance, alignment. It's also alchemy. So I feel like this is like a true testament to your abilities, to how you're choosing to show up in the world. And look, you've got all of this dragon energy. So you're bringing the otherworldly into the worldly, and that's your skill set. that is very much your zone of genius. Taking the wisdom of all of your, past or parallel lives, tapping into the wisdom of what the ancient wisdom, the ancestral wisdom, generational wisdom, you name it. And you're alchemizing it, and you're going to create little globes or little orbs that you get to pass out to everybody, right? Maybe this is you creating your own pentacles that you're now handing out because you're making things more tangible. Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, boldly rising? There's a little bit of grief in there. We talked about that. But really, ultimately, this is about flow. And so I feel if you allow yourself, you in this process, when you're in flow, you're just in flow on land rather than in water. You're in flow with the water, with the air energy and the fire energy. And I feel like those are the elements that you want to be focusing on, because you're bringing the cups energy with you. You're bringing that water element with you already. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it positive or negative? Interesting. Page of Wands. Page of Wands is a great card to get for a circle of support, because pages, it's like student energy. It's brand new. It's somebody who says, "Ooh, I love that idea. Yes, let's go for it. How can I help you? I'm in it to win it. Let me just go pack a quick bag and we'll go. I'm all in." Page of Wands also doesn't need to steer the ship. Page of Wands can be, I want to say, a companion for you on your journey, respecting the fact that it's your journey, and can really be a great support system for you on that journey. Look at all of the beautiful little foxes. There's a gnome here. We've got some fairies that are listening. So I feel like for you, Pisces, this is letting you know that, yeah, you're beginning a new journey, but you want individuals on that journey, or your support system in that journey. They don't necessarily need to know everything and have all the answers. You just need them to be your cheerleader. You need them to be empowering your choices, supporting what it is that you're choosing to do. Here it looks like she's learning to play the fiddle. She's learning to play music, and they're like, "Yay, that's amazing." And, they don't care that maybe, you're not Carnegie Hall worthy at this point. They don't care. They appreciate the effort in what it is that you're learning. They appreciate the process. And that, I feel, is what you're going to notice a lot this month. Yeah, there are going to be some challenges, to explore all of these things about you, but you're also going to have people who are going to say, "Okay, great. No, you didn't perfect that, in your first or second try, but perfection wasn't the goal. The goal is, okay, you made the attempt. Now, what did you learn from that attempt? And, oh, yay, we loved that you were able to, get that note right. We know that you've been practicing that passage and it's taken you a while, but you didn't slip up on that one note." And you might say, "Yeah, but, the rest of the song was, this or that." And you're like, no, that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at this. Like, look at that success. So you are going to have a lot of people who are going to reflect to you things that you might not be able to see for yourself, and they're going to boost your confidence. I love that for you. Hopes and fears. Who are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually doing it? It's the expansion. It's the giving yourself permission to really use your imagination to see the vision, or see beyond what you have already known, what you have already created time and time again. I often say, go to the boundary or the barrier of like what you can imagine in the universe, the stars. And then see if you can stretch your mind and your imagination to imagine what is beyond the stars, the nebula, the Milky Way, for example, whatever. It's using the imagination to go beyond everything and anything that you have already encountered, because we create and co-create the experiences we wish to have. If it hasn't been created yet, it's not going to be in existence. But if you can think it up, if you can imagine it, then you're setting the energetic wheels in motion for that to occur. And that's what I feel is coming up here. Who are you dreaming of becoming? Go big. Go beyond what you ever thought you could be. Even if you get a quarter of the way. It's still further than where you would have been had you not imagined that thing up. Expansion is the key. You want to be expansive. You want to be courageous. You want to try new and different things. There's also the fear that maybe I won't be able to do it. Or maybe I've been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt in all the ways that it can. Maybe there is no joy for me. Maybe there is nothing new for me to experience and explore. I'm going to call bullshit on that because, you're in this body. You've never been in this body before. Yeah, you're the same soul, but you have never been in this body before. So there's always something new that can be experienced, so give yourself permission to really lean into that desire to expand and to go for the thing that has never been thought of before. That's your purpose. That's what you're here to do. I think that's great. Your zone of genius, shine your light. Outcome of this transformation, if you stay on course this March. Who will you become on the other side of this journey? What is the result of the full death and rebirth cycle? Interesting. Two of Wands. Yes, at the end of this month, you are going to have a very clear understanding of the choices that you have to make, the direction that you're going to choose. And I do feel that this is a literal message. You're going to say, I can choose road A or I can choose road B. I don't feel that this is a both and at this time. I definitely feel that this choice is going to be an either or, but the choice is going to be clear and you are going to have a lot of clarity around which choice you want to make and why. And that's important because if you haven't done this work in March, when this opportunity shows up, it may pass you by because you won't have clarity around what it's ultimately showing up for you for. Like why it's here for you, what it's trying to help you to achieve, to ascertain, what it's helping you to grow into. Two of Wands also, I feel, can be a bit confusing, especially because sometimes the choices that we are faced with making are, yes, it can be the choice between shit sandwich A and shit sandwich B. That's the Two of Swords. But often but I want to do both. And again, I don't feel that this is a both and at this time. So don't let that discourage you. Say, okay, at this time, I can't do both. So let me choose one and always remind myself that when I'm ready, I can manifest another opportunity to do the other option. So give yourself permission to do that. Don't think in extremes. Oh, I have to do this and I'm not going to be able to do that. That's not the case. It's about right now, my path is clear and this is the path that I need to choose for myself to get to where it is that I want to be. If I want to explore that other path at another time, I will manifest and co-create an opportunity for that when the time is right. Right now, the time is right for, this option, this road, this path. So very important. Also, you're going to be, you're not going to be alone. You're not going to be doing this journey alone. You've got your companion here. You've got these beautiful soul kitties that are coming along for the ride. And I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a little dog. But you've got another creature that is, looking on in fascination. So you're not having to do it by yourself. You're going to be walking this path with others. So use that as the motivation to shine your light and to choose the path moving forward. Again, it's eclipse season. And that's really important to remember that this is a reset. So nobody gets out of eclipse season unscathed, right? Like we all have to do this. We all have to go through this. So remind yourself of that. Recognize that, okay, it doesn't have to be extreme. It's just where I'm at right now. What feels good to me? All right, Pisces, that is your transformational tarot for the month of March. If you need any help or guidance going through, navigating some of this stuff, click on the link below, book a session with me. It's what I do. I would be more than happy to help you out. Until we see you for another episode of Black Feather Couture, Divining a VIP Life, sending lots of love and support. Please like, subscribe, click the bell, share this message and this video with anyone that you feel could benefit from this type of guidance. I can't grow the channel without you, and I'm grateful for that, for your assistance and for this connection. We will see you on the flip side and transform well.